Mm.
Rosie just texted me and told me to get on the call. She didn't tell me what it was about.
Rosie did.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Monica got scared. Look, she disappeared. Look at that. She was on for all 5 minutes and she disappeared.
Can I start the music on it?
Yes.
Okay, we ready? We're ready to rock and roll, everybody. Welcome to Peer Talk 2.0.
She's back. When they got a new hairdo and everything. Look at this. Can't hear the music. All right, hold on here.
And there you have it. What you doing? We live. You taking off clothes and stuff? This is a family channel.
This is a what channel?
This is a family channel.
Yeah, okay. Well, they got to learn it somewhere. Anyway, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
What's up? What's
Monica,
up?
how you doing?
She's on mute.
I'm doing
right
well.
now.
I was getting myself off mute.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
We got
Hey,
y'all
Monica.
leave yourselves off mute because this is a participatory type of thing we're gonna do here tonight. Participatory.
Participatory.
That's right. We're gonna participate because tonight the brothers are going
the army
share some things with y'all that will hopefully get y'all squared away with these men in your lives.
First of all, y'all, I just want to say welcome to all of our YouTube followers and those who are chiming in for the first time. At the top of the hour, those who were not in, Onyx said to Sheila and I that he was bringing an army of men. So we're expecting, ladies, this army of men to come on and set us straight, whatever that means. Okay, so y'all just be ready, for this army that's going to come on and share some words of wisdom to us women.
You sound like you doubt. Like, are you a doubting Thomas tonight?
I'm really, you said army. So doubtful. Yeah. I think I have the doubting Thomas hat on tonight. Yeah, because this army, I'm curious to see.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you to understand something.
You
know what? Because one can set 1,000 to flight. You know the scripture. And two can do what, Lorinda? Huh?
I'm not going there with you.
No, please do.
Anyway,
please do.
No,
please
no,
do.
I'm not. I'm not.
But don't you want
to hear from our ladies? First and foremost, ladies.
Okay.
Let us know where you're calling from, where you're calling from. I'm so glad that you joined us tonight. Where are you calling us from? What state are you in?
Healthy one, I hope.
Sheila's from Atlanta, Georgia.
Georgia's in the house. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And we have Monica on with us.
Monica.
Yes.
Where you calling from, Monica?
Of course, Atlanta.
Okay, we got ATLs in the house tonight.
ATL is representing. Right on.
I'm gonna see if one of them can finish my statement. Either one of y'all, feel free to chime in. One can set 1,000 flight. Two can set what? All right, neither one of y'all know.
I couldn't understand you.
One can set 1,000 to flight. Two can set. Finish it for me. Don't know. Okay, Lorinda, you want to help him out?
Yeah.
We're not going there. You always tell me don't be going there. We're not going there tonight.
Oh, you pick and choose when you want to go there.
That's right.
Okay,
That's
I'm gonna leave it open. I'm gonna leave it open because somebody gonna get on this call tonight that's gonna finish that statement.
Okay.
I know y'all gonna be
wonderful.
Googling it and whatnot before. No, don't Google nothing.
Wonderful. Well, ladies,
Okay, can you say it again so I can
No,
Google it
it's
correctly?
okay. No, it's okay. Go ahead, Lorinda.
He sounds like he's scared or something. I don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Oh no, I'm not scared. Y'all don't know it. I'm gonna give somebody else a chance to chime in when they do chime in. So go ahead, Lorinda.
Don't be scared. Okay.
No, don't be scared.
Don't be scared. So tonight we have a couple of different things that we will be discussing tonight. There were several posts in our Peer Talk 2.0 Facebook group. So for those who are following on YouTube and you are not on Facebook, or if you are on Facebook and you don't know about our group, go into the search bar and type in Peer Talk 2.0. You will find us. We have a lot of dialogue that goes back and forth throughout the week. Fun stuff, some things that is going to make you think, some stuff that may rub you the wrong way, but we have some good, healthy communication amongst the group. So our motto is we talk about the stuff that most people don't, and we say the things that most people won't. It's Peer Talk 2.0, y'all. So tonight, our topic is, what do y'all want? What do you really, really, really want? Onyx, take it away.
Do you even know what you want is the question. Because some of
Mm-hmm.
y'all say y'all want one thing, and by the time it's all said and done, you've either settled or you've passed up what it is you said you wanted. So we're going to get to the nuts and the bolts and the meat and the potatoes tonight about this whole thing. All right. Lorinda, do you have the post up? I don't have the post up in front of me, but do you have the post up? Because I really want to go through some of these comments. That's what I want to start by going through many of these comments that people make, because they chimed in a lot on this post, and I got to find it. You don't have it up? Okay. Let's
have other stuff up.
Okay, let's get that post up. I'm looking for it as well because I want to get that post up, and we're gonna address. Is it the you've been asking God to send someone who will? Is that the one? No, that's not it.
Oh, there were several. Onyx asked several questions this week.
I did.
So we're going to go through several of them. One of the questions that he asked was, how much should a wife contribute financially to the marriage? And of course, there was a lots of back and forth of what a woman should contribute, what a woman shouldn't have to contribute. So again, this goes in line. What do you really want? Because you say one thing, but yet something else comes along. So that was one of the many questions along the lines of what do you really want? So
let's ask our guests, Monica, and I see Evelyn's joined us this evening. Monica, Sheila, feel free to chime in, either one of you. Evelyn, you save your comments for last. But Monica and Sheila, yeah, eat your popcorn. Sheila, Monica, what is it you want? You say if you say you would like to have a special man in your life, right? First of all, is that a fair statement that either of you would like to have a good man in your life, a nice, someone special in your life? If you don't already, okay. And if you do already have a special person in your life, I'm gonna ask you, what is it that makes him special? If you don't have that special person in your life, I'm gonna ask you, what is? Am I asking the question correctly, Lorinda? What is it you want? Why don't you have that man in your life? What is it you want that you haven't obviously found?
Consistency.
Consistency in what? Okay, I'm glad you said that. Said that. And
Lorinda
knows why.
In your actions, in your words.
Thank you. Thank you, Monica.
Let me say,
I'm not saying consistent that you call me or you send me a good morning, beautiful text at 8 a.m. every morning. That's not the consistency I'm speaking of.
Okay, stop right there.
Okay.
Right there. Stop right there. I'm glad you said that, because there was someone that said love. What was it, Lorinda? They said love.
They just said provider. I just want to.
They said they wanted a man to love, provide, and protect. That's what it was. Love, provide, and protect. And I said, okay, love what? provide what, and protect what and how. Okay. They answered the question very vague. And this is what sparked this entire conversation and me wanting to have this conversation. Hi, Cheryl. The reason is because when people answer questions, a lot of times they answer those questions with such generic terms: love, provide, protect, right? But they themselves have not determined what that even means to themselves. How do I want a man to love me? How do I need him to protect me? How do I want him to provide for me? Because you got so many women say, I don't need no man to provide for me. I can get what I need all by myself. Okay. I don't need no man to protect me. I got a gun. I got a knife. I got a baseball bat by the door. I don't need all that. Okay. I don't want no man. I don't need no man to love me because I love myself. All this kind of craziness.
A knife and a bat. A gun.
Okay. But there you go. So here is why it's important to identify, to actually recognize, hey, Dean, you have to recognize, what do you mean when you say these things? If you don't know exactly what you mean, then you obviously can't define what that person is or should be in your life because you have vague standards. Am I making sense?
Is it that, hold on, in defense of some of the posts this week, perhaps it's not that they don't know, perhaps they just didn't want to go into all of those details on a Facebook post with a bunch of strangers. Maybe it's more, they hold that closer to their heart, and it's a deeper sentiment for them, and so it's a personal thing. So I'm in defense of some of the folks and their comment of being vague. Maybe that's why they didn't really go in deeper to share. That.
Okay, and the price of gas is coming down to $1.99 tomorrow. Anyway, Dean, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Lisa, thank you. I'm sorry, Cheryl, not Lisa. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're talking about, do people really know what they want? That's our topic, one of our topics tonight. We had so many different posts this week that people were they were serious about on this week. We had lots of comments on 3 or 4 different posts. So we're going to try to hit up on, at least 2 or 3 of them tonight, and just have a nice little healthy discussion about it. So Cheryl, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to pick on you real quick since you just joined us. Let me ask, first of all, do you have a man in your life, a significant other in your life? Cheryl, you there? Okay. I see she's unmuted, but it's okay. She might not be available. Some people multitask during our show. That's fine. Dean, thank you for joining us. Okay, Sheila, let me ask you. You just heard Monica, what she said. What is it you want? What is it you would like to have in a significant other?
Honesty.
Honesty in what?
Everything.
Everything. Okay.
Yeah, just be real. I think people get too caught up in trying to cover up sometime or not be honest, but you don't know what you have might be exactly what the person wants.
Mm-hmm.
You never know until you're honest about it.
Okay. Is honesty the only requirement you have?
It's number one.
Okay.
And then I would say companionship, somebody that I can spend time with, travel with, do things with. But pretty much if I get those 2 things, I'm pretty much in good shape.
Okay, so you want somebody who's going to be honest with you and be able to serve as your companion.
Well, if you want to say it like that, I look at it as
somebody
we're servicing each other as a companion.
Serving each other as a companion. Okay. Well, yeah. No. But we're not talking about what you give to them. We're talking specifically about what it is you want, not what they want, but what you want. Because companionship could be the least of the least of what they want. They might just want somebody they could pick up and call to say good morning to. Everybody has their own requirements. So tonight we're not talking about what everybody else wants. We're talking about what it is we want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Companionship, and I will say as well, mental stimulation, because I need somebody intelligent enough to be able to talk.
Okay. All right. Okay.
On different subjects.
Okay. So you need someone who's well versed, someone who is who can have a conversation about sports and then flip the script and have a conversation on politics when the time is appropriate.
Right.
Hypothetically.
Somebody that's not boring, let me put it that way, because I
Okay,
have to stay entertained, or somebody needs to keep me mentally stimulated.
Do you see how we're getting deeper and deeper into this? Because if you went from, and this is all fine, this is healthy, because we're recognizing some things. You went from, I want somebody who's honest, to somebody who will be my companion, to somebody who can stimulate me intellectually, to somebody who can entertain me. You see how we did those 4 things? You see how the more you define what it is you want, the more it comes out. And you start to really realize it. And I think, honestly, to be honest with you, and I'm not talking about you per se, but I'm talking about as we define the person for us, we might even continue to define and define and define. And eventually we've defined so much that it's just straight unrealistic. There's no way in heaven I'm going to find somebody who has all of this. So then we have to start pulling some stuff back. It says then you have to decide what it is you're willing to settle on, because you're not going to get 100%, right, of all of this stuff that we're going to get.
Yeah, but I didn't ask for that much. If they can't be intelligent and a companion and honest, then I don't need to be with somebody that can't be those 3 things.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I'm not
asking for a lot.
I understand. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about in general. When people sit down and they start to define what it is they want in their person, you could come up with a list of 100 things. Just in the last 2 or 3 minutes, we came up with 4 things with, for you, as we kept digging and digging and digging. If we keep digging, we could probably put 100 item list together. Now, is that
something? Let me say something. Sure. I have 100 item list.
Okay.
If I can have everything I wanted, but I also have, beside everything, what's gotta have and what's just a want. So if it's a want, it might be worth 1 point, but if it's a need, then it's worth 10.
Understood.
So something can't be missing.
No.
Can.
I totally agree with you. And I'm not saying that I'm not picking on you specifically. I'm talking about in general terms. Each one of the ladies and each one of the guys on the call, myself included, can have, we can sit down and define 100-point list, 200, 300-point list of things we desire. And you're right. That's why I said, then you have to go back. I see your finger, Lorinda. Then you have to go back and you have to say, you know what? This is a lot that I'm asking for. What is really important to me? Let me define the things that are most important. Let me prioritize these wants and needs and things like that, and kind of narrow that list down so it's not just through the roof and unrealistic. That's what I'm talking about. Go ahead, Lorinda.
I think one of the things that for me, and this is just how I view it and look at it, I tend to, what are the top characteristics that you're looking for in your person, whoever this is that comes into your life?
The top what? 5, 10, 15, 30, what?
No, you have to define what that is. Mm-hmm. Every person has to define that. For me, it has to be the top. For me is, I need you to be, number 1, character. You have to be honest. This is a character thing that I'm looking at. I need you to be consistent, and Once you get those top things in there, you can then further drill down. What does that look like? What does that mean for a person to be honest? What kind of honesty am I looking for? I mean, come on, honesty is honesty. I just need you to tell the truth. You know, what does that mean for me when I say consistency? And then when you have that top list for yourself, then you also have that list of what are your non-negotiables that you absolutely say, well, this is a character flaw that I cannot have a part of my world, my life, and my evolvement and movement. I think it's an individual thing for each person. What my top 5 may not be Evelyn's top 3 or top 5. But you have to know yourself. One of the things that we're looking at and we're saying, do you know what you want? I'm gonna pull back a minute and I'm gonna say, do you really know yourself? Because a lot of times when we're looking at and people are throwing off all these different things that they say they want, they need, and desire, do they know themselves? And the list that you have developed, can you give that as well as that's something that you want to receive? So it first starts with, you got to know yourself. You got to know what it is that you're willing to give. You got to be willing to know who you are as a person and say, this is what I need in my life. This is the type of individual I need in my life. And once you know that, guess what? Don't compromise. Don't be like, oh, this and that and the other, because it's going to frustrate you down the road. It really is, because you're going to say to yourself, I know this is who I am and this is what I desire and need in a relationship, but I compromise and now this person isn't giving it to them. Is it the person's fault that they're not giving it to, or is it yours because you compromise?
Right. All right, Evelyn, go ahead. Evelyn, go ahead.
Yes, I was taking myself off mute. Hi, everybody. Good evening. When we deal with what a person wants, I think it's a fair question to say, because you're right. Some people do have a want list that's all over the place. But then when they encounter that thing that they said that they want, they don't respond to it in the way that you would expect when people get what they say they want. So the question isn't what do you want anymore? It's about what you've been conditioned to respond to. There are women who say, I want a man who's consistent, but as soon as he calls 3 times a day, oh my God, this brother's clingy, go get a life. Then there are women who also say that they want a guy who is a provider, but to them, that means, okay, you're providing, you're paying the bills. I don't want to work. I'm just going to sit here, let you take care of the bills, eat, you buy my clothes, you get my hair done, you do all of that stuff. And I don't want to do anything at all. And that's just what you do. So I think that, like Ms. Wren was saying, it's not necessarily about all the attention on knowing what you want. It's about knowing yourself and knowing what things you need to respond to in a person. But along with that, drilling down a little further with that point, there are some people who don't recognize the dysfunctions that they've accepted as normal. There's some people who don't recognize that say that there are things that they want. They only want after those things because they feel like that's what they're supposed to want. And that's why when they get it, they don't respond to it the way that you think a person would when they got what they wanted. So
how many of us are guilty of that? How many of us are guilty of getting exactly what it is we said we wanted, and then only to determine that that wasn't necessarily what you needed, and now you're ready to put that back on the shelf?
Sometimes with money, that's an easy thing to answer. People who swear up and down if they had $1 million every day for the rest of their lives, it would solve all their problems. And then some happens, they win the lottery, and now that money has become the bane of their existence and what their life end up being ruined over.
Exactly.
Okay. I think that part of this.
Go ahead, Ms. Sheila.
I was going to say, I think that part of that comes from people expect external things to make them happy. So they make a list of what they feel is going to make them happy when they don't understand that there's nobody outside of you or anything outside of you that is job is to make you happy. The only person's job to make you happy is you. And I don't think that you should look for that in somebody else. I think 2 happy people need to get together and then they just make their life okay. So I
Right.
don't look outside of me for anybody to make me happy. I'm already happy,
And
but
that's
I'm not
important.
going to allow anybody to make me unhappy.
Right. And that's important to realize that what you just said is that's a whole topic in itself. You know, who is responsible for your happiness? That's a very good point. Welcome, Denise. I see you. Roz, welcome. Colette, thank you guys for joining us. We're talking tonight about right now. We got a few different topics we're going to hit on tonight. There was a lot of discussion in the group this week on 3 or 4 different posts. But the one we're discussing right now is, do people really know what they want? They say what they want, but have they really defined what it is they want? One of the posts that kind of sparked this conversation tonight is one of the young ladies in the group mentioned that she wants a man to protect, provide, and it was protect, provide, and what was it? I'm sorry. Can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Protect, provide, and love. And so my question was, what do you want him to love? How do you want him to provide? And in what ways does he need to protect you? Now, I know y'all say, Onyx, that's silly. That's a silly question. Everybody knows how a woman wants a man to provide and protect and love. No, that's not true, because we don't know. There's so many different ways, because you ask a woman, you know, how is a man supposed to do any one of these things? Some women will tell you, I don't need a man to do this, that, or the other. Right? Okay, fine. Then why does this one need it? If you don't need it, you're a woman. Why does she need it? And then, and if she needs it, how does she need it? I need to know these things. You know, it's a good conversation to have, because every man might not be able to protect you the way you want to be protected. He might not be able to love you the way you want to be loved. He may not be able to provide for you the way you expect him or want him to provide. So it's a conversation that needs to be had. Yes, Lorinda. The bathroom is to your right. Turn around, exit. You know, the one finger thing, you know, that's church.
Whatever. I want to go back to a question that you had asked, that Evelyn sort of segued into this about people getting what they say they want, and then down the road they realize, ooh, this isn't it. This is all off. So there's 2 things that happen in the situation, and I will just use myself. I'm a very transparent person. So one of the things that this happens is, I was young. I did not know myself. I lived in what I call, this is my own little definition of this, I lived in Disney World. I lived in this world of, you're going to meet a guy, and, you know, all those butterflies and all that's going to happen. And that's the person, that's the one.
And
I was
walk on
very
the
young.
floor
I was very
without all the
naive.
water dripping off you.
Hey, Dean, do me a favor and mute your mic.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead, Lorinda.
I was young. I was naive. I did not know myself. So I got in relationships with this warped idea of a relationship and what it is that I thought I wanted, need, and desire. And when you don't know yourself, and when you're going off fairy tale world, you get in these relationships, and down the road you realize, guess what? I don't even like this. I don't, this is not how I operate. Until you do the inner work and know yourself, you're going to continue to go through these relationships, and you're going to keep picking apart somebody that says, no, that's don't work. No, that's not going to work. No, that's not going to work. Stop. Learn and know thyself, so that you know, one, you're not going to waste nobody's time. You're not going to waste your time or anybody else's time, because they're not giving you what it is that you want, need, and desire. Okay. Number 2, along with being that whole naive and whatnot, and you go through all that. Number 2, I don't think we have realistic expectations that we are constantly evolving people. Okay. So who I was at 18, honey, I am not that person right now at 53. Okay. So if you're getting in a relationship, again, make sure the core values are there so that you can move and grow and evolve together. If that's not the case, you're going to constantly keep doing this in and out, bob and weave with relationships, because you don't know yourself. You have unrealistic expectations about growing and evolving and moving in a different direction. So you're always going to look at this as a fail. oh, this relationship is failing. This person isn't giving me what I need. This person isn't, making me feel the way I need to feel. You got to know yourself first, and don't play the game with pointing the finger outward when it constantly doesn't work. You got to put that finger back on yourself and say, okay, let me stop and examine myself. What is it that I really want? What is it that I really need? Because guess what? Want and need are two different things, people. What is it that I want? And what is it that I truly need? And then you can move forward accordingly. That's just what I wanted to say.
I see Evelyn posted something in the group. She said married men, I'm assuming it's many men, excuse me. Many men expect women to be perfect, but they are sloppy. Okay, I'm gonna come back to you, Evelyn, because I need you to explain that. Hold on.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you come back. I'm gonna come back and let you explain that. I did see Denise's hand up. She put it down since then, but I want to get back to you, Denise, because I want you to be able to express your, say what it was you wanted to say. Go ahead.
No, Lynn had really said a lot of it, because when we got married and we went to counseling, and the question was, why now? Because we've known each other since forever, right? And I told the pastor, I said, we went through 3 phases. We went through the first fairy tale phase. We went to the, oh, I'm in love with him. And now we're at the reality. We know who we are individually. We know who each other is with all the dirt, the good, the bad, the ugly. And so, but it starts with accepting and knowing who you are. So that's all I was basically feeding off what she was saying, because we've been going back and forth in the chat.
Okay. Your situation, the best as well as I know it, is unique because you did go through those 3 phases. You and him have known each other a very long time, and you knew each other when you were just friends, and you evolved. You watched each other evolve over the years. That I won't say unfortunately, but that isn't everybody, and I'd say honestly, that's probably not the majority of married couples' reality. Most people meet, they go through the I'm in love phase and they get married. They don't go through the I've watched you grow over the years into the person that you've become. They don't go through that. So you guys are fortunate.
But they can.
They can.
See, they can. But it's what you have to be able to face where you are as individuals.
Right.
Even though we was not married through that process, we still had to look at self. And so when you're in it as a married couple, it's no different whether you got married 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Everybody have to do their own individual work.
They do. You're absolutely right about that. All right, go ahead, Evelyn.
2 quick points. When people are trying to decipher what they want in another person, I think that it's very daunting when you're considering their whole lifespan and what they're trying to whittle down to a few yeses and a few nos. I think that there is definitely a benefit to being as specific as possible, because a lot of women say, I want an honest man. Well, what if the man is honest and he comes and tell you, well, guess what? I just slept with your sister yesterday. I'm not lying about that. I'm being honest. So even this deceit, this treachery, this betrayal can be fit under the cloak of honesty, if that's all you said you want. So when you are being specific, don't leave that part out. Don't assume that you just want that person to be honest, even if that means that they don't care about how carelessly they can tell you the bad things. The second thing is finding out all of those things that you want versus what you need. That can be daunting to people again. So it might be easier for them to back into what goes on that list. Start with what they don't want. If they say, when I was little, I saw this kind of relationship where the guy did this and the woman did that, that's not what I want. So clarifying what they don't want can help them isolate some of the things and move toward things that they do.
Okay, Sheila, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, when she's talking about honesty, I can accept honesty, because if it's not what I want to know that up front. I don't want to know that you slept with my sister 5 years from now and you've been deceitful. If I was the person that wanted to accept that, I want to make that decision now. I'm not the person that's going to accept that. So I'm ready to walk away and I'm okay with it. So I still want honesty. I think part of honesty is being able to accept it. And I can accept honesty from anybody because then I can make an informed decision as to where I want to go with my life. Whereas if
Okay.
you're not being honest, I can't make that decision. I'm
Do
not
you
going to knock anybody's decision, what they want to do, but I want to be able to make it from an honest point of view and not with my head stuck in the sand.
Understood. But and here's the problem with honesty is a healthy thing. I agree. Everybody wants it. Everybody desires for people to be honest with them. But here's the problem with being honest. Being honest can get you blacklisted. It can get you put out. It can get you put down. It can get you tucked away, and the person will never get to know the person you now are from what happened, from something you disclosed you did 20 years ago. So that's the reason a lot of people don't, I say they refrain from being honest and upfront with you about everything up front. First of all, none of us are honest about everything up front. One, because we just don't think like that. We don't think about everything up front. Right. It's not like you're sitting at the table. You're like, tonight, baby, over dinner, I'm just going to lay 100% of my life out on the table for you. Ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody doing that. You're not doing it and they're not doing it.
You know what? Maybe I said it wrong. Maybe I don't want anybody that's being deceitful. How about that?
Okay. And that's fine. But see now watch this. Watch this. If I fail to disclose something to you that I wasn't even thinking about, right, down the line, and it finally comes up and I say, you know what, there's something I need to tell you. And honest to God, I just never thought about telling you this until now. We've been having this conversation and I disclosed this to you because I didn't disclose it to you 5 years ago. You could potentially look at me as being deceitful because you could potentially look at me and say something that important. You should have told me up front.
Well, so I'm again, like this with me, I'm more open-minded than that.
Well, that's good.
Because that's good. The bottom line is if somebody didn't tell me something up front and it wasn't relevant at that time to them or me, but later it becomes relevant and they tell me, I'm going to take into consideration, was this 20 years ago or was this 20 days ago?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, I do. And that's cool. That is a good thing. That's a good thing, Sheila. But every woman don't think like that. And unfortunately, we as guys, and I'm speaking from a male perspective, meeting a woman that I'd like to get to know, and I'm a little skeptical about sharing some things with her, for the fact that it happened, and I'm being, I'm just kind of using an example right now, something that happened 20 years ago in my teens or 30 years ago when I was in my teens. I'm like, I really want to get to know this person, but if I tell her this, I'm a little afraid that she's going to, blacklist me, that she's not going to take the time. She's not going to want to take the time to get to know the man that I am today. Right. And women can think the exact same way. Right. So for that very reason, I might say, you know what, I'm not going to say this right now, but I'll bring it up at another time, a time that I feel is more appropriate after I feel she's kind of bought into me a little bit and she won't judge me over that. Right.
Somebody's trans.
Can I
Go ahead, Loretta.
Okay. So we had a show sometime back and you asked a question about sort of similar to this. And one of the things that I said on that show is I need someone that I can feel safe with. As you get involved, basically what you said, Onyx, is yes, we want honesty, but and this is something that I say, I want honesty, but I have to build up to know that you are safe with my past, with where I am now, and that I feel that you're going to be safe as I move and grow. And that takes time to make sure that this person that's in my world and in my life, that you are a safe place, that you are not going to hold that against me,
right?
That you will understand that I have moved, I've grown, I've lesson learned. Because one thing I will let people know, you can't judge me the way I can judge me. Okay, you can't beat me up the way I've already beat myself up. If it's something that I realize now, like, dang, girl, what was you thinking? You just did some stupid stuff. You can't come at me the way I've come at myself. So first and foremost, I got to know that you're safe. And building that comes with time. I have to continue to get to know you. I have to continue to vet out your spirit, so to speak, your essence, who you are, so that I could continue to sort of open that box up a little at a time, a little more, to see if, you know what, this is a person that I can share that with, and this is a person that is safe. Okay. And no, they're not going to judge me. Now, they may have some questions. They may be like, okay, thank you for sharing that with me. Now I need to drill down, but yet they're not going to judge me. They're going to continue to see that I'm this person. I've made some decisions in my life that they may agree with or they may not agree with, but this is who they are today in front of me. And
Right.
so again, are they a safe person? But that comes in time. That's not just out the box right away, you know. So that's just something that people have to look at. I see that Denise's hand is up, so we're gonna go to Denise,
but
and then we'll go to Sheila.
No, before we
ahead,
go to Denise, before we go to Denise and go to Sheila, I wanna get one of my guys on the line here. Dean. I want to hear from Dean. Dean.
Yes.
You there? Hey man. Thanks for joining me. You know, I was telling these, let me ask them, I'm gonna ask my question again. Is there anybody on this call that can finish this statement and don't go Googling it? Honest, this is the honesty part right here. All right, we're gonna see how honest y'all are. That you're not gonna go and Google it, put your phone down, that you're not gonna go Googling what I'm saying just so you can be the first one to say, I know what it is. 1 can put 1,000 to flight, 10 can do what? I'm sorry, 2. No, 10, 2. 1 can put 1,000 to flight, 2 can do what? Anybody? Do you know your scripture? Lorinda?
I'm not saying, I told you. You always telling me no. I'm not going there.
Anybody? Okay, never mind. We'll come back to
10,000. I don't know.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you. Then please tell me you didn't Google it.
No, I didn't.
Okay, all right. That's the honest man right there now. It's an honest man. So, Dean, let me ask you, have you ever met a woman who told you what she wanted, and in actually having a discussion with her, you realized she really hadn't defined what she wanted?
I can't say no. I mean, my life has kind of run a different course.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I've never had those kinds of experiences, really.
Okay, well, that's a good thing, brother. I hope you never do. Hi, Blessed. How you doing? Blessed, not stressed. Welcome to the show. We appreciate you joining us, Sonja Lynn. Thank you for joining us as well. All right, now I'm gonna go back to these hands and go ahead, Sheila. I see your hand up.
Oh, it was Denise first.
I'm sorry, Denise.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Her hand was down. So that's why I called her Sheila. Go ahead, Sheila.
Okay. Since it seems like honesty is being a problem, being defined, let me put it this way. I want somebody that won't lie. Okay. That's the main thing. That's what I consider being honest. They're not gonna lie.
No omission as well. Because you know, folks, they go, you know, I didn't quote lie. I just didn't tell you all of it. So are you saying lying and omission? That I don't want nobody that lie, and I don't want anybody that's going to omit part of whatever the story, the whatever situation.
Well,
is.
I think that came back to where I was talking about deceitfulness. I'm not talking about, I don't want it to be, okay, you coming and telling me everything you did in the last 40 years, because I don't want to tell you everything I did in the last 40 years. I'm not necessarily keeping it back from you. If you ask me, I'll tell you, but we're not just going to blurt all that out. But what I mean by honesty is somebody that's forthright, that's, if you ask them a question, or if they know that it's something important that you know, that you need to know, that they let you know. And I don't think, I'm not getting ready to compromise for that. So I do believe, because I have had men that have been honest to me, so I know that they exist. And so I'm not gonna ask for less than that. However you want to put it, I'm not asking for less than that, because that's what I deserve. So
You're
Okay.
saying you want a sneaky man. That's what you're saying in terms of honesty.
Can you repeat that, Dean?
No, you're defining honesty as having as a person not being sneaky, because as Evelyn was saying, honesty can reach the point where you just simply vent everything, and that is not going to be wise.
Right.
Yeah, it's
I agree
certainly
with
not
you.
going to be wise. It's not wise to say everything that you might be feeling, for that matter.
Right. Agree.
I mean, if you want
Agree.
to mash up your relationship, say everything you feel and see how far it goes.
Right.
Let me just tell
It's
you.
not going to get
With
anything. But that is not considered honesty. That is foolish.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm.
I have
Agree.
So
this,
go ahead, Evelyn.
I put a comment in the chat, but I said that sometimes when a woman tells a man exactly what she wants, that tells him exactly what he needs to do to sleep with her. And she's honest with him. He's walked the line, they've had sex, and now he's gone and she doesn't know what happened.
Okay, give me an example of that. Give me an example of that.
When a man and woman first go on a date, and then we'll get back to the whole other issue I raised a few minutes ago. But if a man and a woman go on a date and she tells him, I'm looking to have kids, I want to get married, that's my ultimate objective, I want to have kids, and the man, so she puts all that out on the table because she's feeling like if he doesn't want the same thing, I don't want what he wants, we're not going to waste each other's time. So this is how it is. This is what I'm looking for. He says, oh, well, you know what, baby, I've been thinking about the same thing, and blah, blah, blah. The rest of it is just agreeing with everything she said she wants because he knows that's what she needs to hear from him. And as soon as they sleep together, while she's believing that they've connected, she's believing that they have similar intentions, all he's done is take her honesty and used it against her.
Okay. Let me go there with you, Evelyn. Let me go there with you real quick, just on that point, and then we can come back to your further points.
And then what's up too.
Okay, men go through that all the time. We go through that all the time. Women say they want honesty, right? You guys say you want honesty. If a man would just be honest about what he wants, if he wants to sleep with me, that's fine. Okay, but I just want him to be honest about it. Okay, first of all, if a man if you're having a discussion with a man and he tells you, say, you know what, I think you're attractive. I just, I like you. I think you cool. But to be honest with you, I don't want a relationship. I just want to sleep with you. What he gets defined as being is a hoe. He gets defined as being fast. All he wants is some of that. Okay, so no, I'm not going to give it to him. Or very few women are going to be like, you know what? I just want to sleep with you too. Because she's now scared of being defined as being all of those things, right? So he put his cards out on the table as she requested. But instead of her being upfront, even if that is what she's interested in, instead of her coming back and doing just that, saying, you know what, I'm glad you feel that way because I kind of feel the same way too. I'm not looking for a relationship. I just want to, hey, we've grown, we can do what we want to do. But no, she can't do that because she's now scared she's going to be defined as such. So, so I'm going to beat him to the punch. He going to be defined as a hoe, not me, because I ain't going to tell him the truth. That's the first thing. Hold on. That's the first thing. Now you say you want honesty. You think he's going to take what you give him and manipulate you is basically what you just said, right? And I'm sure it does. But does that not happen to men? Watch this. A guy comes to a woman and says, everything I just said. And I've experienced this. So I know I'm speaking from personal experience now. You tell the woman what you want. You're upfront, you honest, I'm not looking for no relationship. You may not necessarily say, hey, I just want to sleep with you, but you've already told her I'm not looking for a relationship. We can go out, we can have fun, we can do whatever, but I'm not looking for a relationship. You know what I've been told? You ready for this? I'm not looking for one either. I totally agree with you. I'm there with you. I've been in a relationship. I just want to have fun. I just want to enjoy my life. Okay, cool. Now we can do this. But what happens? The guy is always accused. Always accused. And Lorinda, you know this. Me and Lorinda have this conversation all the time, and I think we agree on this. The guys always accused. You knew what was going to happen to her feelings. You know how women are. So why would you even go there with her? You know, women always say what they can do, but they don't really. So that's what we get.
Let me give you
I'm
three.
gonna ask you to hold on a second because Denise's hand has been up.
Go ahead, Denise.
Okay.
Thank you.
No.
I'm coming back to you,
I just
Evelyn.
want to say that. I just want to say it really depends on the individuals, because everything that we're talking about starts with self. Because I've been single out for a long time, and I've been that girl that's, if we in a grown folks conversation, that we say, hey, I'm cool with friends with benefits. When we get together, we get together. When we ain't around each other, hey, it's nothing wrong with that. But most people don't know who they are to have those grown folks conversations.
That's from the first part of this whole conversation. Most people don't know who they are. So go ahead, keep going.
No, I'm done.
Okay, I'm done.
I want to chime in here because this is something I say in my workshops, and I've said it on this call a number of times. If you can't be honest with yourself, you are not going to be truthful with me. And it goes right back to what we're saying. You have to be honest with yourself on what it is you want, need, desire, and you've got to stop playing this game with yourself that you're like, oh, okay, I got this. It's okay. Your example, Onyx, about you're the man, you saying to the woman, hey, I'm not looking for no relationship, I'm not this and that and the other. And the woman comes back to you and they say oh, I'm not looking for that either. I have had conversations with women who say that because, and they go all through that. But then in that same breath or later on in that conversation, they're talking about how they desperately, they want to be in a relationship. They want to move forward. They look forward to being committed. They look forward to having a husband, having children, and all of that. And I said, so then why would you get yourself in a situation with someone who told you point blank period they did not want that, but deep down inside, that's what you really want and crave? Who played who? And I know this is hard, but I say this to who played who? Did you play yourself or did they play you? Because you weren't really honest with yourself. What it was is you had this attraction to this individual, and you were like, oh my God, they make my flesh feel all sorts of tingly. And they said they don't really want a relationship. Well, no, I really don't want a relationship. I want to be with them. But in the back of your head, you're like, well, what if I go with them and it's the one? We start to do this whole, we start to put a story together in our heads. Be honest with yourself. If you are that female that without a shadow of a doubt, I'm not looking for nothing. You gotta know that without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not looking for anything else. This is just, hey, we chilling, we having a good time. But if you know deep within the recesses of your heart and your mind that you desire companionship, you desire commitment, you desire to get married, do not play yourself. And we have to own that. We gotta own it. And this goes for men too, because men come back and they say, oh, you know what? I don't really want to be in a relationship. But in fact, yeah, you do. You really do. You want a relationship. You want that go-to, that woman, that partner for life. Men do the same thing. They play themselves just like women do. Oh, I could just, I'm good. But yeah, because I know friends, bulk of my friends are male. And so I talk to them and they want that woman. They want their rib, if we're going to go there. They want that woman that they build something with and a legacy with. So I tell them because they know. So if that's what you really want, why are you out here doing all of this?
Right. Right.
It goes both ways.
And see, and here's the thing. Some of the, and again, I'm not going to say all, some of the women who have done that, I'm just looking, I agree with you. I just want a friendship. I just want a companionship. I'm not looking for nothing serious. Some of them have done this song and dance countless times. So they are lying to you and they're lying to themselves, saying that this is what they're okay with. They're not okay with this for that very moment, because they want that person in their lives. They want to spend time. They don't want to push that person away or make that person run because this might be the one. All of those kinds of things. The bottom line is, as soon as he does what he does, or as soon as what happens, they're gonna get hurt. They're gonna fall for the situation. They're gonna fall for this person because they've done it before, and they're not being honest with themselves. If you have a pattern of saying one thing and doing something else, you need to recognize that about yourself. Like Lorinda said, stop. If you know down in the very fibers of your being that you desire a certain thing, stop lying to people and telling them you're not, just for that moment. Because as far as playing to somebody, you playing yourself. He ain't playing you. He ain't got to. You lying to him, covering your own stuff up. He being honest.
Here's something I say, Onyx, and I have a women's group that I said this to. Ladies, stop breaking your own heart. Stop breaking your own heart.
I like that.
And I'm very serious, because I have a heart for my sisters. I'm a woman. I've been through some stuff myself. Okay. And I had to own the fact that, you know what? Did you break your own heart? Because you went into this trying to be, big and bad. And, like I'm all grown. I got my big girl panties on. And in actuality, no, this is not what you want. This is not the relationship that you're trying to get yourself entangled in. Okay. So I have to face the music. You broke your own heart. Because again, remember I said I want somebody that's honest. He said at the beginning, I don't want no relationship. So what was it that you did? You decided to continue to lie to yourself and to move forward with it. And now you want to be what, angry at him because he said, but remember I told you. So I had to take the responsibility and say, you know what, you're right. Okay, I did this.
Sheila.
And again, Denise said it, I said it, everybody on this call said it. It starts with
self.
You. What do you want? Stop this whole back and forth thing with yourself and sort of going on this teeter-totter about, I think I sort of want this. No, I don't want this. Oh, I think I sort of want this. I don't. No. What do you want, and stick to your guns?
All right, go ahead, Sheila.
Yeah, and I see what you want and all of that, but when you first meet somebody and go out on a date with them, you don't need to be making no decision. Neither one of y'all don't need to be making no decision that y'all gonna have no long-term relationship in the first place. Because you don't know enough about them. They don't know enough about you. Even if both of y'all are thrilled to be with each other, y'all both are just can't keep your hands off of each other. Within 6 months, things start to look different. So to me, you shouldn't even be making, I'm more or less, when I go out with somebody, I say to them more or less, if it's moving forward, I want it to move forward, and it's not, I don't. That's it. Because I need to know you before I make a commitment to you, because everybody don't deserve me. And in order for me to see that you deserve me, I need to spend some time with you to know that you are deserving. So,
well, you're supposed to wait 90 days.
Huh?
You're supposed to wait 90 days.
Yeah,
you do that.
On the first date, you shouldn't be telling somebody you ready to jump into getting married and having kids and all this. Eventually, if you find the right person, I would tell them like this: if I find the right person and we're compatible and we decide to move forward, that's one thing. But right now, I want to get to know you.
Okay.
And I want you to get to know me.
We did a show about what's too soon. And that show talked about conversations that you should have should or should not have on a first date. We may have to revisit that show because you just brought up a point, Sheila. It's too soon necessarily to have certain conversations. You want to get to know that person. You want them to get to know you. But how much of you should you really divulge on a first date? You know, and until you until you find that safe place in that person where you feel that you can be more transparent. You know, you're not going to be clear the first time you meet a person. You shouldn't be. Okay, that's a say. You know, things that have happened in your life. You know, you don't want to necessarily divulge all of that information at one time. So you're not going to be clear, but you offer different levels of transparency the more you get to know somebody, right? And eventually that person can see right through you. You know, they know what makes you move. They know what buttons to push. They know the whole nine about you, but that's not going to happen overnight. And it certainly is not going to happen on the first date. So we may have to revisit that show and come back to it. Lorinda, I see you smiling. Go ahead.
I'm cracking up here. Evelyn, you had a comment that you placed in the chat.
Yes. Early on in the discussion tonight, there was a question asked about what, I'm looking right at the question. It was Denise's. The question she chatted is, do we sometimes look for things in others that we are not living up to, but expect it? My response to that question was, many men expect women to be perfect, but they are sloppy. And that's what Onyx was kind of laughing at me about, that we would get back to. But here's the explanation of what I meant. Expounding upon what I meant. That was the word that couldn't come out. This whole society imposes upon women these incredible and ridiculous beauty standards. You're supposed to look like this. You're supposed to be this thin. You're supposed to do this. And the fashion industry just embodies that too. Because as soon as a woman gets to a point where she has shapewear that gives her a figure, the next style that comes out has cutouts in the sides. So now she can't wear the shaping thing that makes her look perfect to give her this perfect hourglass. We have the makeup, we have the wigs, we have all these types of things that are supposed to make us beautiful 24 hours a day, all the time. And guys are allowed to expect that when they can sometimes themselves be sloppy, unkempt, look like they just got dragged back and forth from around the corner from the edge of hell, and it's okay.
You said the edge of hell.
Beautiful women are coerced into being insecure, while men who aren't doing anything to keep themselves up are able to pick her apart when they themselves look like a mess on wheels. And that's what I meant by it. That's one of the examples of
can I address that?
Perfection, but they're not keeping themselves up.
Can I address that before you go to your next point?
Sure.
Let me address that. First of all, why are you allowing society to define what you should look like? Do you not subscribe to your own thought process? Why should anybody hold on? Well, hold on. Wait a minute. I'll let you speak. You can come back. Hold on. Why are you, I'm going to go back to that. Why are you allowing society to tell you what you should look like? First of all, if you are unique in yourself, society shouldn't be able to tell you what you got to look like to get a man. That's the first thing. Okay. The second thing is, why are you dressing to find a man? Is that what you're doing? Are you clearly you are. If you're allowing society to tell you you got to dress like this in order for a man to recognize you, you care about what you look like and what society says you're supposed to look like to get a man. Do you really want a man who subscribes to what society says a woman is supposed to look like? Or do you want a man who thinks for himself and says, I'm going to like you with the makeup or without the makeup, with the extra rolls or without the extra rolls? Stop letting society tell you what you're supposed to look like and the kind of man that's supposed to find you because of that. That's a problem with you. That's self-confidence right there.
Exactly.
Let me answer your 2 points before we get into other aspects of the conversation. Point 1, you asked the question, should society tell you what you should look like
to get a man?
The bottom line of that would be no. But the problem is that you're not recognizing men and women are socialized differently. Women are the gender who are told you are worthless if you don't have a husband. You are worthless if you don't have somebody's kids. They're coming out of it now. There are women who are trying to get away from that notion now. But what I'm telling you, the way that society functions, everything about a woman is the way that she's supposed to look. But if you don't put that same impetus and that same value or that same importance on a man keeping himself up that far either. There are jokes about hygiene products. Women have shampoo, they have conditioner, they have body wash, they have exfoliants, they have this, they have that, they have this, they have that. A man can go get one bottle of body detergent for his hair, his underarm, his groin, his feet, everything. Because the way society functions is that the balance is too far imposed upon women to do a certain thing, be a certain way, look a certain way all the time, when they don't equally put that emphasis on men. Your
Evelyn,
second point.
go ahead.
Your second point, shouldn't a woman want a man who can think for himself enough to get away from all of those impositions? Absolutely, she should. But does she have the confidence to ask for that kind of man when society is still telling her she's valueless without
Okay.
a husband?
Let me ask you this. I'm glad you, okay. All right, let me ask you this. Do the men know the hair care products you have in your closet?
Most of them could, yeah.
No. You hear listen to my question. Do the men know when you meet a man on the street or you meet a man at a club, or you meet a man at church, wherever you meet him, does he know what hair care products you use?
Don't talk, Ross.
Let me answer that.
No. Answer the question. That's a yes or no.
Right off,
That's a yes or no, huh?
Right off, he probably doesn't.
He does not. Stop right there. Stop. No. Stop right there. Stop right there. No, Evelyn, because I'm making a point. I'm making a point.
Take my answer out of context to make the point, though. That's
You said that society defines all of these different products that women are supposed to use to beautify themselves and all of that. That's what you just finished saying. Okay. My point is, first of all, don't no man know whether you use Pantene or Head and Shoulders. Okay. Don't no man know what kind of deodorant you use. Don't no man know what kind of underwear you got under your clothes. All of these things that you're talking about or that you just finished mentioning are superficial. We don't care about that stuff. Okay. As long as you are, hold on. If you are clean, okay. If you are clean, if you have proper hygiene, okay, and I'm not talking about, okay, he go to the gym, he's sweaty when you meet, okay, that's fine, that's him. If he don't want to keep himself up, then that ain't necessarily the man you want, right? You might want the man in suit and tie that smells, like Aramis or whatever the heck your favorite cologne is. Oh, I know, Aramis, I know, that's your granddaddy's cologne. But hey, some people like that, Old Spice. But anyway, no. But what I'm saying is, it goes back to what you as an individual are looking for. Me personally, I'm not looking for the model type. I'm not looking for the woman that's wearing Chanel. I'm not looking for the woman whose hair is always straight or curl, whatever it is. I'm not looking for that. Okay, all of that stuff. Look, gravity is going to take hold at some point, and all of that's going somewhere. Okay, so
can I inject here? Okay.
Go ahead, Lorinda. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because we have several people who have.
I see the hands raised. I see them.
And we need to let everybody have their opportunity. So I'm going to start with Denise, and then I'm going to go to Sheila, and then I'm going to go to Roz.
Go for it.
Order. Go ahead, Denise.
Okay, Onyx, I'm going to disagree with you on so many levels.
It's okay.
As a Black, I know, that's why I'm speaking my truth. As a Black woman, single and married, there are so many men, especially Black men, that will judge a Black woman on her appearance first before they even say anything to her.
Okay.
They will look at her, and if you got something crooked or something's not right with it, why you looking like that? Why you wear that? You should look like this and you should look like that. It happens every day. Even if
would you want to go out with a guy like that?
Oh, heck to the no.
Then he just did you a favor.
But and I'm not saying he doesn't, but what I want to do is to correct your statement.
Go ahead.
Because it is true. It happens every day to women. And that's what I just want to correct, because it does happen. And no, I'm strong enough to say bye, but somebody else will internalize it. And now they've been put down again. because of the
Okay.
pimple or whatever it is.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done.
All right. And that's thank you for that, Denise. Hold on, let me address that, Ren. Thank you for that, Denise. I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate you, calling me out and addressing that. The whole point that I'm making, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I agree with you that it happens. But when men do stuff like that, women have to be strong enough. Okay. And this is where y'all have to come. And this is where you, am I my sister's keeper? This is the kind of conversation you as women need to be having with each other. You need to be recognizing and helping your sisters recognize, baby, that's not he did you a favor. He showed you who he really was. And that's not the kind of dude you want in your life. If he can't come up to you sweaty and stinky at the gym, if all he wants to see is you at your finest, guess what, babe? He ain't the one for you because you ain't always going to be at your finest.
And Onyx, as women, I can speak for myself. We have these conversations with these females that's in these relationships. And guess what? You would never come between the bedroom. And we all know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. But Denise, you can't save everybody. You can't help people that don't want to be helped. If she wants to live in that fantasy world, if that's the world she wants to live in, she's going to continuously be hurt. She's never going to have a real relationship because as soon as all of that goes away, so is he. Okay. So that's the point I'm making. I know it happens. And it's not right. And it's a burden for you guys, but you women have to be strong enough to realize you don't have to be that way. You don't have to live the way society says you have to in order to get a good man or have a good man in your life. You're not getting real men in your life if that's all they're looking for. Those aren't real men. Those are real men that want you for what you look like now. As soon as the next one comes along that looks better than you, that smells better than you, that talks better than you, guess what? You're going to be a has-been. So you need to check the kind of guys that you're allowing in your life. Go ahead, Sheila.
I just wanted to say one thing I wanted to correct that the young lady said about somebody making you feel insecure. Nobody can make you feel insecure. Insecurity is something that comes from within. And all men don't want the same thing. Some men like more of a natural look. Some men want some meat on the bones. Some men, I've met men that, anyway, men got all kind of kinky things they like. So you can't necessarily say that all men want this perfect looking made up woman because some men are turned off by that. But regardless, if that's the kind of man that you only kind you want, then that's one thing. But that doesn't mean that some other man might not want that type of woman. Some men want you to be natural and some men want you to be some want you all made up. The last man I dated, he took more time getting dressed and looking like a model than I am, and he didn't have no problem with me. So, I'm just saying. So, but that's because I'm confident in who I am. And if you like me and are attracted to me as I am, then that's how we can move forward. But I'm not going to be anything other than me because guess what? I like me, so that's what I want.
Thanks, Sheila. Go ahead, Roz. Roz, you there?
I'm here. Hi, everybody. One of the things I wanted to just say, Onyx, one of the things you were saying was that women just have to be strong enough. And you corrected a little bit of that with Denise, but this is a problem that's much bigger than just one woman being strong enough or a circle of friends. Pretty much like there's institutionalized racism, there's absolutely institutionalized beauty standards around the world when it comes to women. I put a comment in the chat. I have sat around a boardroom table when people were candidates are being discussed and heard comments about somebody's hair, somebody's weight. The resumes are stellar and apples to apples, but it came down to, I don't like the way this person looked. This person looked kind of crazy or not. And if you sit around locker rooms, your family gatherings, and you hear the men in your male friends, your family members, everything talk about women, whether Charlie Wilson singing about my girl's a dime, so it's one of those things where women are judged. And when you think about the fact that if this is all that you have known and if this is all that you have seen, it's kind of like we're telling people pull themselves up by the bootstraps. How? When you have never heard anybody tell you from the time you're growing up that your dark skin is beautiful or your 4C hair is something that is of beauty, how on earth are you going to expect people to know and have that confidence in terms of that the way that they look is okay, that their hair is beautiful, that my black is beautiful, whatever shade of black that is. I mean, we've got starting all the way in Africa, they talk about the tribes. In the Caribbean, you talk about colorism. We talk about, I think, it's something that's real. And it's hard for, let's say, a young girl today to have confidence in how she looked, if her mother didn't have that type of confidence, because from the days of slavery where you had the house slaves and the field slaves and everything else, it's going to take some time for a mindset shift. Right. And I think it's not as easy as just saying that women have to be strong enough. Women have to be strong about a whole ton of things. And it's just a matter of how do we break that cycle?
Understood. And great points, Roz. Great points. And here's the thing. To your point, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not something that, that you can expect to happen, in the next year or two. But just here's how it starts. Okay. First of all, no one can save everyone, right? Let each one teach one is what we have to subscribe to. That's been taught to us all our lives. Let each one teach one. Here you go. The fact is, everything that you just said, that black is beautiful, that your natural is beautiful. These things. You have to convey that message to the young girl growing up. If her mama or her grandmama never says it, guess what? Roz can say it, and Roz can instill it in her, and Evelyn can instill it in another one, and Sheila and Denise. All of you guys have the power to do these things. The problem is we don't. Guys don't do it. Hold on. Guys don't do it to all the young men. I'm going to acknowledge that. We don't. Every guy, little kid, I see your finger, Lorinda. Every little boy that we come across, we don't share that message of encouragement that we talk about no one else shares. We don't always do it. But when we do take that encouragement and give it to them and continue to build on it and build them up, then they do the same thing. That's how these changes happen. Okay. So, and until that happens, people are going to continue to find themselves in this cycle. So we always talk about where does it start? Where does it start? That's where it starts.
Well, let me give you a real life example.
Go ahead, Rob.
About 4 weeks ago, I took my braids out. I wore my hair in my afro to work. And we had just gotten a thing from our handbook the previous week from our job that talked about what was professional hair and what wasn't. So I wore my hair to work in an afro. I walked into the coffee shop and a young lady said to me, "Oh God, Miss Rosie," she said, "I love your hair." She said, "I need to wash my hair." And she said, "I've not washed my hair yet this week because when I wash it's in an afro and I don't have time to go to the hairdresser to get my hair done." And based on what they talked about in our handbook, I did not think that I could wear my hair to work in an afro. Because where I work, it has never been done that any Black woman has come in with her hair in any other style than straight in 110 years of the establishment where I am. So it's one of those things where you talk about, we are doing it, but when we do it, it's a comment. Like my boss said to me, "Oh, I like your hair." And I wore it pressed another week. He says, "Oh, I really like your hair like this. I liked it the other way too, but this way is more professional." What?
Right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you know what? I want to go into something that you said, Onyx, because okay, Lord. We oftentimes put this onus back on women that you have to fight the good fight. Okay. And honey, we've been fighting the good fight.
And you're going to continue to.
But at this point in the game, okay, we need our men to have our backs. Because let me tell you something about women. We have our men's back. Let me tell you why. There's all sorts of things floating around social media about the big guy. The big guy. Who started the big guy movement that we like big guys? It's women. Do you see a big old movement constantly going on about the men who like big girls? No, it's sort of done in secret. You know, oh yeah, I sort of like that fluff, but I don't want to let it be known.
I haven't seen any big guy marketing either. So I don't. I do see. I have seen posts about, and you can find groups out there that talk that the guys are in that like full-figured women. You can find that all day long. So,
but what I'm saying here, we are in this. We keep wanting to put this onus back on women. You all have to change the beauty standard. You all have to change how you see yourself. You all have to do this. Guess what? Two are better than one. And baby, we need our men to say, I like that. Guess what, society? We are going to back our women, and we're going to say, you know what? I like her natural. I like her plump. I like that, you know what? Hey, she may not have the Coca-Cola bottle figure. That's okay with me. She may not have the straight hair. I need our men, because I know men who say, you know what, I don't mind my woman wearing weave. But yet we have this whole other section of folks who are loud and boisterous. I don't like that. I want a natural. We need to be a united front in this cause. That's all I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, but here's the deal. That is on your man to say, I like my woman full figured or all natural. That's on your man to do that. That's not on every man to start no marketing campaign to say, I like full figured women with natural hair. It's not. That is the end of, Lorinda, stop. That is on your man to do that. Your man is supposed to praise you in all of your beauty and all your essence the way you are. That's his job. That is his job, and it's your job as a woman to do the same for him. It's not a man's job to go out there and market for women to wear or not wear extensions in their hair or what. It's not. Come on now, that's not even realistic. Go ahead, Evelyn.
You're missing my point. You're missing my point.
I'm addressing your point, or at least the way I understood it.
Here's what I'm saying.
Well, maybe I misunderstood your point, but I'm addressing it the way I understood it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Evelyn.
What I understood Ms. Wren to say was the same thing that we as Black people say to white people about eradicating racism. It's not enough for Black people to say that this needs to stop. White voices have to be in the equality battle. She is saying that it's not enough for women to keep talking about body positivity. Men have to get in that too. That's what.
Okay. Then let me ask you this: how would women, and it's enough for y'all on this call, how would you all like to see men do that?
Okay, look, here's a perfect example. When Harvey Weinstein was in the trial for all that he had done and it had been exposed, there were 12 women outside the court advocating for him to be prosecuted for the things that he had done. Where were all the men who were in the cover-ups behind him doing those things and didn't side with those women when they knew exactly what Harvey had done to them? Men have to have these voices and raise these issues as well, because watch this, as long as Black people are the lone voices talking about racism, white people will turn a deaf ear. As long as women are the sole voices talking about body positivity, fairness, and equality, men will turn a deaf ear, because you will say this, a man will hear certain things from a man better than he will receive that same thing.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Men are saying, stop it with the impositions on women, then more men are likely to do it. If a white person is saying, stop it with the impositions on races and minorities, then more white people are likely to rally around that point.
To that point,
boyfriend.
To that point, the racism one, and I'm just going to address that point because you brought it up. To that point, I'm a member. I'm actually on the leadership board of our local chapter of the NAACP, our local branch. Okay, we have as many white people on not as many, but we have quite a few white people on our in our meetings on the leadership board. Hold on. So I hear what you're saying. I hear that you want men to address these things, to side with you in addressing these things. Is that what I'm understanding you to say?
If that happens, the issue becomes right versus wrong versus man, as opposed
Somebody just disagreed and hung up, but okay.
if what you're saying that if men get on the bandwagon with women and side with women, and men and women together are fighting that issue, then the issue is on the battleground of right versus wrong instead of men versus women the way it stays now.
Okay, but here's the thing. Everything we talked about tonight, full figure women, hair care, how you wear your hair, how you smell, what kind of products you use, all the things we talked about tonight in regards to those things are on an individual basis.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on, Evelyn, hold on. All of those things are on an individual basis. I like something he don't like, so why should he side with me? Okay, I prefer women with natural hair, with their own hair, not necessarily extensions. I'm not saying people aren't attractive that wear them. I'm saying my preference is I like a woman with no extensions in her hair. I like to feel the hair. I don't want to feel tracks and all of that. That's me. Okay, that's me. Okay, somebody else, my brother right here, he might not have a problem with that. So why should he side with me on that to defend? No. You ask. I'm not asking the question for you to answer it. I'm being rhetorical. You can come back and answer. That's fine. But my point is, everybody is not going to necessarily want to side with somebody on something they don't necessarily agree on. Okay, you like something I don't like. You like thick women. I like thick women. You like skinny women. I don't like skinny women. Whatever. I'm not going to side with you for defending skinny rights if I'm not into that. Come on now.
The point is empathy.
I understand. I'm not going to beat the person up, but I'm not going to go agreeing on something I disagree with.
Let me finish answering. You said
go ahead.
Rhetorical question. Empathy is the issue. I can say, as a cisgender heterosexual woman, it's not right for gay people to get beat up all the time.
I agree with you as a heterosexual man.
That doesn't mean that I'm gay. That doesn't mean that I'm homosexual. All it means is I see what they're struggling with, and I
understand. Correct. And I agree with that.
Men can say the same thing. I see that women have beauty standards and all this other stuff imposed upon them, and I do not appreciate that. Black people and white people are coming together at your NAACP meetings for the same reason. White people are saying, I see what minorities are going through, and I do not stand.
Don't agree with it.
All
exactly.
The same premise. You don't have to like exactly what he likes to understand that what is not correct.
Evelyn, there are 1,000,001 things that we can stand up for in this world. Dogs, cats, mice, rats, goldfish, women, men, kids. There are 1,000,001 things. There is no way under the sun you're going to be able to advocate for everything you agree or disagree with. It's not going to happen. People have to stand up for themselves. You all are a movement. Women in yourself, your own right, are a movement. There are enough women that could stand up and say, you know what? I don't care what you say about my hair. I'm going to wear my hair the way I want to wear it. You're going to like it or don't like it. It's not going to change who I am and what I do. You don't need a man. You don't need a man to stand up for those kinds of things. It's enough for y'all to get together. Now, the brothers might side with you and say, you know what? I'm agree. You might start getting a plethora of men to come in and stand side by side with you in your effort. But don't expect men to start that movement. It's not going to happen.
Men have a responsibility to deal with these issues the same way that they are imposed upon women. Why does Congress act like unwanted pregnancies and abortion are women's issues? Sexual assault are women's issues. None of those things would happen if we're not for some level of participation of some man. So the idea that, yes, we do have to join forces with men about certain impositions being too heavily burdened upon women, the point is not that she is absolving herself of responsibility. The point is, again, that men need to have their voices raised in tandem with hers. in order.
And like I said, we can do that, but you're not going to expect a man to raise his voice first in an effort like that. It's not going to happen.
Onyx, I don't think that's what she was saying.
No, that is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that men have to raise their voices first. We are already in this fight. First and foremost, we came into this world as female. We've been in this fight since we came through the chute. Okay. What I'm saying is join us in this fight. You may not agree with, hey, she is a size 2. I don't get down with a size 2. But the assault against because she's a size 2, I can't get with that. Let her be. What I'm saying is undergird us. Come in and say, guess what? Let her be a size 2, man. No, I don't get down with size 2, but let her be who she is. We need each voice. You always tell me don't go to church, but I'm about to go to church. Okay? Because God created man and woman. One, we are supposed to be a team here. We are supposed to set the tone.
That's in marriage, Lorinda. That's in marriage.
No. It is not just marriage.
Where did he create us as one? Where did he create us as one?
I can speak to that when you get a moment.
Can I speak, please?
You go ahead. Who's that? Oh, go ahead, Sheila. Go ahead.
This is Sheila. Okay. I'm not 100% agreeing with the ladies. I feel that this is an individual thing.
Thank you.
And that each woman needs to take responsibility for her own self. I don't think anybody should be put down. I don't think anybody should be put down. I do know in certain professional positions, you have to look a certain type of way. But what I found from men is they are not as judgmental of women.
We're not.
As we are. And as we are of ourselves.
Where's a little clap? Where's a little hand thing? I want to put that up.
Men look at what they like.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, if a man like a top-heavy woman, he might not like nothing else about her but that she top-heavy. If a man like pretty feet, he looking at the feet and he ain't looking at nothing from the ankle up. Or, I mean, I'm exaggerating to some extent.
But you're right.
But I've even said, jokingly, since I'm older and thicker, I said, just when I'm older and thicker and my nappy hair, now that's what's in vogue. If you look at it, men are tending to like thicker women. They're tending to like natural hair. They're tending to like older women. So some men like this perfect picture of a woman and some don't. What the perfect picture is what that man
it's an individual thing.
And it's not a universal standard, particularly in the Black community. And unlike, and then maybe this is an Atlanta thing, but I grew up and my cousin that's dark chocolate always grew up proud of being Black. I have a lot of people, they like dark-skinned women. I know people that like light-skinned women. The fortunate good part about the Black race is we got it all. We got dark, we got light, we got thin, thick. And, I mean, I've had my share of guys that like me, and I'm definitely not the makeup, prissy person that's walking around perfect every day. So I can't agree with that because I haven't experienced it. But of course, I grew up with great self-esteem and I feel good about me and who I am. And I want somebody that likes me for who I am. We're going to first be attractive on the outside to each other, but then we go deeper and feel each other from within. So all the relationships I've been in, I haven't had a problem of being perfect because I'm perfect with them, but not for everybody else and the standards. So I think instead of, nobody should put anybody down, but we need to start within ourselves, understanding who we are, what we love about ourselves, and then go from there. Because if you don't love what you look like and who you are, and you're trying to be something that you're not, then why should anybody else?
Right. Thank you, Sheila. Colette, did you have your hand raised? Did we overlook you? I thought she at some point had her hand raised, and we've just been going on and on. Go ahead, Roz. And Denise,
No,
I'll come
I
back to you. Okay, go ahead, Ross.
Oh, that was a mistake. I have nothing to say.
Okay, Denise, she took her hand down too. Evelyn, your hands. Colette, huh? What'd you say, Lorinda?
I thought Colette came back in.
Colette's on the
Yeah.
call. She said she didn't have anything to say.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part. That she said.
Yeah, she said she didn't have anything. Okay.
I
Now, Evelyn,
know
Evelyn, your
because-
hand's always raised. It never goes away.
basically because I think we've gotten a little off topic. So
Yes.
We
yes.
did. We did.
I put that in there, right?
Our topic. We're gonna take this opportunity to go back to what our topic was, and that is, do you really know what it is you want? That was our topic tonight. Do you really know what you want? Are you vague in asking for what it is you want? Can you truly know, Evelyn? We're moving on. Can you really define the things that you say you want? Can you break those down to a point where they make sense to you and they make sense to other people, i.e. the people that you're actually trying to, the people that you're considering making a part of your life? You know, are they justified? Are they realistic? Those kinds of things. That's what this initial conversation was all about. But we got way off on a whole bunch of other stuff, but that's okay. It was a healthy conversation. Lorinda.
Isn't that what happens though with families when you're at the family gathering? You start talking about the turkey and the dressing, and then the next thing you know, you're talking about something completely different. But that is still, I don't know about anybody else's family. We good for coming right back around, somehow connecting all the dots.
You gotta bring it back.
Yeah.
You gotta bring it
We
back.
family here, y'all. We family. This is what we do.
That's what I was about to say. Take advantage of my hand being up. I can put it down now because I was finished with that point.
All right. I want something fun now. I want something fun. Another one of the topics, and we're going to be wrapping things up here shortly, about 15 minutes. We will call this, we're going to call this call at 10 o'clock. I asked the question, good morning. I asked this question two different ways. I asked the women, first of all, I asked the women, what do real men do? Okay. Very, very straight question. And I asked it that way because I wanted to see how people think. Okay. And then I turned around and I asked the same question, fellas, what do real women do? Okay.
and
And
more answers from the women than you got from
we
men.
got a ton of answers from the women. We got 6 comments from the guys, 6. And you know what? The reason, and later on, I posted another comment, and I'll have to find that one. But it was a revelation for me. And if you guys go back through the questions I asked, you'll see which one it was. But it was revelation for me because I realized why a lot of times guys do not respond. Okay. And the reason why is because when we do respond, when I ask a question and the guy, first of all, I ask questions. We've had this before. We've had this conversation before. Me and Lorinda get so livid about it. I ask a question of the guys and the women chime in. And y'all think, I say y'all, I'm talking about the ones who do it, think it's cute. And it's not cute. When we're asking these questions, we're asking the questions. Sometimes they're fun questions, but sometimes we're asking these questions because we really want to see what the perspective is. We were trying to educate ourselves. We're trying to see what people are thinking so that we know, okay, maybe I've been thinking about this the wrong way. We like perspectives because sometimes people can help you see a different perspective. But when you're joking on the post and, I'm saying guys only, and women start chiming in, come on, y'all, that's ridiculous. Let's be let's be respectful.
So I want to hear from Dean on your question. He's been quiet. He's our only other male on the line, and I do want to hear his voice.
Yeah, Dean, what do real women do?
What do real women do?
Your opinion, what do real women do?
Real.
The question is, we have to define what is real. I am not sure.
Okay.
And I see coming out.
What is real to you? What is real to you? It's a personal thing. So what is real to you?
For me, a real woman is natural, personally.
Okay, natural how?
Natural in terms of how she carries herself.
Okay, define it. Break it down for us.
Not made up, not artificial, not the extension of eyelashes, this long nails and all kinds of stuff. That looks very, very artificial to me.
Okay, now you're talking about the physical part, and that's fine because that's what a real woman is to you physically. Okay, let's look at the person, the person though. What is a real woman? What is her person? What does that mean to you?
Okay, a real woman to me is a person who is somewhat humble, honest, of course, and intelligent. I mean, I'm intelligent about life. I'm not talking about intelligent in terms of learning complex things.
I'm glad you defined that. Go ahead, keep going.
Yes. Like I said, humility is a big part for me, of the real woman. Down to earth, not a woman who is condescending, but a woman who can enter in, empathize, and understand in general terms what really life is all about, even for other persons.
Okay.
You know, that's the kind of person to me is the real woman.
Okay. Appreciate that. I'm gonna look at some of the comments that, okay, the 8 comments, okay, from the guys for that same question that I asked the ladies. 58 comments when I asked ladies, what do real men do? You know, I'm not even going to go through all. Of course, I'm not going to go through all of them. But I want you guys, when you get a chance, I want you to take a minute and just kind of go through and see what some of the answers were to the questions. Some of them made sense. Some of them were defined a little bit better than others. Some of the people were on joke time, you know, and that's fine. But, you know, but when we're having these kinds of conversations, you know, if you want it to be fun for you, that's fine. I'm not going to judge you if that's what it is to you. But I want people to understand that a lot of these questions are really to help people, to make them think, because some people want a real relationship. Some people want a good understanding of what, you know, whatever is the question pertains to. Right. So don't think that everybody is on joke time or whatever. You know, sometimes it's okay to joke around, but sometimes I need you to be serious when you're answering these questions, or don't answer them. To be honest with you, don't answer them. Right. Lorinda?
Oh, I just wanted to.
Can you share some of the answers though?
Yeah, if you guys want me to read some of them, yeah, let me
I'd be glad to, because I want to get a perspective.
Okay, let me okay, these are some of the questions that some of the answers that the ladies gave as to what a real man is, or what they define. And I know this is an individual thing, so it's, you know, this is from each individual's perspective, right? One person was, you know, I looked at this as being on joke time. She said, I have no idea what a fake man. Okay, that did not, nowhere near did that answer the question. That comment could have been left out. But anyway, another person says, take care of themselves and their children and the children they produce. Okay. All right. Somebody else said he's a male private part in his pants. I won't even speak on that, but you guys can see how some folks are on joke time or whatever. Okay, one of the guys answered, and you know, he chimed in because I made a comment on it. When I saw some of those answers, I said, some of y'all are being funny, cute, but this is a serious question because some honestly don't know, and you wonder why your relationships fail. You don't take the time. A lot of people don't take the time to be serious about the questions they need to ask themselves, you know, about what it is they really want. And then they wonder why their relationships fail. So one of the brothers chimed in. He said, Onyx, the reason this question is troubling, at 20 years old, this is a guy talking, at 20 years old, according to some of the above responses, I was a real man. However, I was still 20. All of the husband/father boxes were checked. Yes, I was a young dad and a husband and a sailor. He was in the Navy, but I gambled with all of those things by some bad life choices. Partying was blah 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 blah. I'm not going to read this. Is kind of a long paragraph. I'm not going to read it. But anyway, he chimed in and he recognized you know, the question, and he wanted to just kind of chime in and offer his 2 cents as he said it. He's always a real man. Just be conscious of what phase of life that person is in. This is a comment he made. Just be careful of what phase of life the man is in. Okay, so a real man, he says he's always a real man. Okay, he might be a real man to that individual, to that particular woman who defines what a real man is, because it's different for everybody. Jan says a real man leads. He provides for himself and his family, but accepts a woman who can contribute and bring her half to the table. That actually sparked another question, but we're not going to get into that tonight. Protects what's his and his family, loves God, himself, and his family. Simple as that. Okay, that's the reality for her of a real man. So, I mean, 58 comments. I'm not going to read anymore. Y'all can go in and read them for yourselves. You may identify with some of these people, you know, but then some of them you won't identify with. Some of them were someone said, I asked the question, ladies, what would make the man the head of your household? You know, who I don't think those were the actual words, but it was basically asking how would you characterize or allow the man to be called the head of your household? Y'all understand where I'm going with that. And somebody said he's a man, as long as he's a man. Now, I would venture to say that the majority of you on this call would not necessarily identify a man as the head of your household simply because he is a male. Am I right about that? Would that make a man the head of your household because he is a man physically? Lorinda?
No, it wouldn't.
I would think it wouldn't. But you see how vague that was? Now, if I had a sit down conversation with this person and say, okay, define that, she might have been able to define it, really chop it up and break it down into bite-sized chunks where you get a better understanding of what she was saying. And like to Lorinda's point. Sorry, go ahead, Dean.
Let me say something else.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
That answer could be based on the fact that, and this is my experience in dealing with ladies.
Okay. Yep.
Ladies want a man, but they want a man who is able to lead. They don't necessarily want to take on certain responsibility. They will do it if they have to, but they rather not take them on. They want the man to take on those kind of leadership responsibilities. There are some women who tell me, look, if I don't have to work, I just don't work. If I have a man who can bring home the bacon and sufficiently, I will perhaps stay home and do other things. It seems to me that is coming from an inclination. I don't know, maybe an instinct in their heart. I don't know.
Okay.
Of looking for that person who can kind of provide that kind of leadership.
Right. And we have people in our group who are like that. I mean, they're defined. They've defined themselves. I won't call any names, but we have people like that who would prefer to be kept, so to speak. And that's fine. If that's what you want and that's what you're looking for, then you know what? Go after it. Seek it out. If that's what you want, don't accept less. Stop accepting things that you don't want to accept. If that's not the real for you, then don't accept it.
Didn't I
right?
say that at the top of the hour?
Yeah, you did. You did. You have to know thyself, know what it is you want and go after it. Don't settle for anything less than what it is you really want. The honest to God, here's the thing. I pray you get it. I really do. Whatever the desires of your heart are, I pray you get them. Right? But if they're unrealistic, don't be disappointed if you don't get it. Or if it's realistic to you and that's what you set your sights on and you turn out to be 70, 80, 90 years old and you still haven't found it, guess what? You did that. You set your expectations and you didn't settle. At least you can be proud of that. But are you going to be happy that you didn't necessarily achieve what you wanted? Do you have to set your standards a little bit lower sometimes is where I'm going with this. I see your hand, Evelyn. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if that necessarily is about
your
standard.
hand did not get raised, Colette. Your hand did not get raised. But go ahead. We're gonna come back to you, Evelyn. Go ahead, Colette. I'm just messing.
Know if that's necessarily about lowering expectations or standards.
Okay.
Necessarily.
Okay.
I think it really does go back to knowing yourself, knowing what you need and want, but also understanding the opposite sex. Because whether it's female, male, whoever you, or even the same sex, whatever type of relationship you want to be in,
okay,
you have to understand the dynamics of that other person also. in order for the two of you to be able to move forward together. You know, I can think of what all I want and communicate this to someone that these are my hard lines. And I think that that's the only time when you have certain boundaries that, you know, like if you're a smoker and I know I can't have someone that's I can't be with someone who's a smoker, or you drink and I can't be with someone who drinks. You can't ask me to lower my standards of that just so I can be with you.
Right. And you don't have to lower your standard. Well, that's okay. Standard might not be the right word, as you said, but it's a, what do you want to call it? It's a expectation, a criteria.
A criteria.
Okay. We'll call it that.
But you do have to be willing sometimes, if you find the right person,
to compromise.
And work through those expectations.
Understood. And you're absolutely right about that. You're absolutely right. Go ahead, Evelyn. 2 seconds. Time's up.
This whole thing where there are people who do garbage. They do crappy things to other people. And if those people want something higher than that crappy, they're told that their expectations are too high just because the common practice sets the bar so low. And I think that when people are considering what their expectations are and what forms the basis for those expectations, they should not be expected to abandon that just because the people around them aren't doing the same types of things. You know, it's like, for a very bad example, there are some women who say, I want a man who is honest. I want a man who will be in a monogamous relationship with me. He's not talking about side chicks. I want a man who works and makes his own money, however much it is. There are people who will realistically tell her in this day and age, that's asking a lot. I've heard women, I was watching TV. There was an interview of women in Atlanta. Keisha Knight Pulliam, she played Rudy on the Huxtable. Her ex-husband married her best friend. And the issue between them became, there are so few good men in Atlanta that was acceptable now, when normally that wouldn't have been. There's a notion that kind of has so much dysfunction readily accepted that when people are looking for the basics, they're still told that their standards are too high. Okay. And I think that needs to come into consideration when people are, standards need to be adjusted, because
that's fine. That's fine. But you keep saying the same thing. People are being told, people are being led to believe, society is telling you this, that, and the other. Stop listening to what society tells you. This is your life. Live your life.
Let me answer that. I feel, as I've said before, it's easier for men to say how easy it is to dismiss society.
You guys, Evelyn, you guys act like, but you're acting like men don't go through these things too.
Not at the same level.
It doesn't matter. We still have to go through a society. Look, Black people tell us we have to live our lives to a certain standard. Yeah. Black men are ridiculed because we're Black. We're ridiculed because of color. We're not lighter or darker than somebody else. We're ridiculed because we happen to be this, that, and the other. Black men have been beat down. We get beat down by Black women. Okay, we see that all over we see that all over the post. Now, if we allowed society, you never hear a man say, well, society says I got to do this. Society says I got to do that. You never hear a Black man say that. Stop.
Why do you think they get Cadillacs when that expensive car is the only thing they can afford?
Anybody buying no damn Cadillac? Who buying the Cadillac? Pimps? What kind of dudes you hanging out with?
No, don't even make this about my personal dudes that I'm hanging out with.
You said dudes buying Cadillacs. Dudes I know ain't buying Cadillacs.
There are men who put their all income in a Cadillac because it's a status symbol. Why? Okay. Because they're looking to have a certain projection because society tells them that that's what they're supposed to do in order to be arriving or to have that status. I'm not saying that men don't get it. I'm not saying that men don't get pressure. I see your finger, Ms. Wren. I'm about to finish this comment right here. You cannot stand in a restaurant cooking food and think that the smells of that restaurant won't affect how you think what you want for lunch. In the same way,
Yes,
you
you can.
cannot live in a society that is steeped with messages and think that you will not be affected at some level.
Okay, let me speak for me. Let me speak for me.
Hold on, please. Hold on, please. Hold on, please. This has been an excellent conversation tonight. It's been a very energetic and assertive, I won't say aggressive, assertive conversation tonight, but we are at the top of the hours, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, we'll be back next Sunday. So I just want to let everybody know that. And honest, we said we were going to keep to a
You're right.
certain.
You're right. It's 10:01. You're right.
We said we were going to keep to a certain time, and we want to be mindful of that. We understand for all of our East Coast folks, it's late for you. It's not as late for me here on the West Coast, but I just want to inject once again, we are at the top of the hour, and just to reiterate, those who are watching on YouTube and how passionate we are, our motto is we talk about the stuff that most people don't, and we say the things that most people won't. This is Pure Talk 2.0. What we are excited about, ladies and gentlemen, is our Los Cabos, Mexico trip next year, 2022, September the 21st through the 25th. We hope that you join us in the beautiful Los Cabos, Mexico. There will be information shared in our Pure Talk 2.0 group on Facebook. So if you are not a member, please join so that you can find out about this wonderful trip that we're about to take. Loads of fun, great company. We laughed at our last trip. We laughed. We had a blast. We had a ball. Check out the pictures in our group, and we hope that you join us next year and continue to be a part as we grow Pure Talk 2.0. I love y'all. Trust me.
I love y'all too. I love y'all too. And we're gonna Evelyn, this ain't over. I just want to let you know this ain't over.
I like her smile now. She wasn't smiling a while ago, but I like her smile. The smile has come
Dean,
back.
you're getting brownie points. Okay.
She was
hot. All right, y'all. We're gonna wrap this up. Y'all stay safe.
Y'all.
Stay safe. Avoid the Rona, the corona. Okay, this thing has different levels apparently, because so many people are calling it so many different things. I've heard it called covert, COVID-19, COVID. I mean, like they put a lot of emphasis on the vid, the Rona, C19. I done heard so many different variants. It's like, come on, y'all. It's still the same thing. Be safe. Mask up. You know, if you got your vaccination, great. If you didn't, you know, do what you got to do. But at all costs,
no
just
matter
be safe.
what state you're in, no matter vaccinated or unvaccinated, doesn't matter at this time. Stay safe. Guess what? Y'all make some ginger tea. Get that ginger lemon up in you, some potassium, some zinc, and all that.
Ain't no guarantees that is going to even work.
Build up your immune system, no matter what.
So you can do it anyway, though.
If you get it, if you don't get it, you can still build up your immune system so that you can fight this thing. Evelyn, I want to tell you, Omicron. I really thought that was something from like Transformers. I was like, is that a new Transformer movie coming out, Omicron? But anyway, that's a whole nother story. I love you all. Be safe out there, everyone. And guess what? Before we end, it starts with you. It starts with you. If you want change in your life, it starts with you. Start asking yourself the hard questions.
Who am I?
Okay. Love y'all. Love you.
All right. Bye, y'all. See y'all next week. Maybe.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye, Messy.